Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Yep, it's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. Charlamagne the God, Angela Yee. We got a guest in the building. Special guest, his name is Mo Amer. Did I pronounce that right?
It's Amer.
Mo Amer.
Yeah.
Mo Amer. How come
It's
you don't
nobody's
go by
fault.
Muhammad Amer?
I mean, I address it immediately in my
I
special.
know.
It's like, it's one of those things like I can't ever win. You know, Muslims like, what, you ashamed of the name? It's like, no, bro. Of course, Muhammad is like a beautiful name. It's a blessed name, and I'm proud to have that name. You know what I mean? It's just like everybody calls me Mo. It's not my fault. It's just I got there and it stuck. I'm also called Hamoudi. Like Hamoudi, people who speak Arabic and know Arabs know that Hamoudi is also a nickname. So I'm known Hamoudi, like in my crib, like my mom and stuff. And my friends came to visit for the first time. They're like, who the fuck is Hamoudi, bro? You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. And I'm very, very proud of that. And also, a second note is like, you know, as a Muslim, I take that very seriously. I'm in crowds. I'm around alcohol. I'm around drugs. I'm around all kinds of shit in our business. And maybe I want to have, you know, some freedom and not have to, you know, potentially look bad and you know.
Yeah, because people ask you, I thought you were a Muslim. You ain't supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Why you around this alcohol? Why you around this smoke? Why you got grill in your mouth? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, that shit like that would happen. But yeah, I have a very sophisticated understanding of my religion, thank God, and I try my best. And I'm not a perfect person, but that's why. Why you gotta be straight out the gate with this shit?
And let's be honest, it makes
Yeah.
life easier.
It does make
Sadly,
life
when you're a minority,
Yeah.
a lot of times you got to do little things just to, so we keep our peace of mind throughout the day. We don't need the
Yeah.
extra hassle. You know what I mean?
It's so
Yeah.
crazy how your name can affect so much. You even addressed it in the special, like when you were calling up to,
Immigration?
yes, and you
Yeah.
had to use your, quote, white voice.
White voice. That's what helps all the time. I get late checkouts using a British voice. I get I get extraordinarily late checkouts just being, hello, sorry, my flight's been cancelled out of Europe. I actually need this happen. If they give me trouble, I get the supervisor on the phone. You get respect.
You've always been really good with accents, too.
Uh-huh.
You do a great Mexican accent also.
Yeah, I do. You want me to just hop into the Mexican accent? You want me to just piss
Does he
off
look
all these
Mexican to you, Charlamagne?
Does he look Mexican to you?
I mean, I don't know, man.
That could be a trick question.
I mean,
don't
you
think
look
so.
Cuban. I don't know what that
Yeah,
means.
I don't know what does a
Because you
Mexican
said you
look
got
like.
like,
mistaken.
yeah.
You got mistaken for being
Of course.
Mexican before.
I've also got mistaken for DJ Khaled, and that's very frustrating, too.
Now that I can see. I can see that more than the Mexican
Well, we
thing.
are related, basically. You know what I mean? He's Palestinian, too, so it makes sense. No, for real, like after Saturday Night, when he did Saturday Night Live last year for Christmas, or the year before, I guess, I went there to check it out, and I met him there. And then after the party, at the after party, all these white girls walking up shaking. Oh, really enjoyed your performance. I'm such a big fan. I was like, cool, you want to take a picture?
Fan love.
And then
It was
somebody
so
posted,
funny.
I slept with DJ Khaled last night.
Somebody
It was
posted
so
that?
funny. No. Don't start messing around with these rumors. It was so funny, though. It happens too much. Immediately when it happens, I'm like, I gotta lose some fucking weight. I can't do this. I was like, I'm getting in shape.
How does
can't
Tyler got
have
a
this
Weight
happen.
Watchers deal? Isn't that the craziest shit?
He hasn't lost a pound in 10 years.
Not at all.
Talking
did.
about I lost 12 pounds. Like, I don't see nothing.
He did lose weight, but then I think it went back. You know, it's not easy.
Yeah, I had the same. I've fluctuated too. It happens. You know what I mean? It's hard out here.
You was on a flight with Eric Trump recently?
Not recently.
Not recently?
It's
Okay.
been a hot minute. Yeah,
All
it was
right.
like a big thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, man,
What
I was
happened?
on that flight. I was just minding my business, bro. I was just like, you know, catching a flight, going on tour to the UK, and the lady upgrades me. And you know, you're on a standby list. Like I procrastinated on the flight, so I just put my name on a standby list, and I got upgraded. And I went up to I get in the aircraft, and I see Eric Trump. It was like few months, like not even a month after his father was elected. And it was like, it went down. I was like, I knew when I was getting upgraded, the lady that upgraded me was definitely a Clinton supporter. I'm like, for
Yeah.
sure. She was looking around like, oh, there's an empty seat next to Eric. Let me check out who's on this.
Oh, you were
who's on
sitting by
standby.
him?
Next to him,
Next
bro.
to him and up
They let a
first
Muhammad
class.
sit next to the president's son on
Son,
a plane?
Exactly, bro.
Jesus
They didn't
Christ.
care.
He said he was nice. He said he was nice, though, right?
I ain't say nothing like that. Okay, you better watch it. Don't start ruining my
You said he was
credibility out here
cool.
on these streets. Yeah, he's real nice. We're gonna golf in Doral next week. This
You
is
said
ridiculous.
you're a Trump supporter now.
Yeah. I'm a Trump supporter. I just want to see him burn capitalism to the ground. That's what's gonna happen. That's what he's doing.
You think so? Explain.
I just think it's just like he's capitalism with his dick out. You know, he's just like all the ugliness of greed and everything else is just like, it's just, there's no hiding it anymore. I just think that could be, nothing more can destroy capitalism than something that's just like, just complete just living out your full desires and just taking everything that you can with lies and no need to cover things up or even take the edge off of it or unite people. It would be a disaster for the country for everyone to be that way and take on that way.
I agree with you, but I think you have to have some level of compassionate capitalism, right? Because we're all here because of capitalism.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm not. Look, man, I'm doing great. You know what I mean? Everything is going well. I'm very happy about that, and I also know that greed can destroy, empires.
That's right.
And that's all it's done is destroyed empires. So whenever you get super cocky and you think you have everything, and you don't have compassion for those around you, those countries around you, it can very possibly end badly.
How's your relationship with Donnell now?
Donnell and I is just not
Donnell
cool,
who?
man.
Yeah,
He's always
he's been-
tripping. Yeah, Donnell who? Exactly. Who's Donnell?
Donnell Rawlings, a comedian.
Yeah.
I never heard him.
No, I never heard him either.
What's he on?
You
'Cause
know
he
what's
was
he
saying
on?
that-
He's on juicing. What
He
did
was
say?
saying that you haven't been supportive of him lately.
Well,
for
that's not
whatever
true.
reason.
That's not true.
No, I texted him and told him you were coming. He was like, yeah, Mo hasn't really been supportive of me lately.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
That's ridiculous. That's not
Did
true.
something happen?
No, nothing happened.
Okay, I was just checking.
I mean, he did juice on the bus, leftover veggies when we were on tour with Chappelle, and he set me up, to take. I had the boo-boo on the bus, and that became a whole
yeah.
thing, and that's a whole situation you brought up last time, and we don't need to talk about him. Of course, I'm sport. That's my guy, man. I love Donnell.
All right, I
Why?
was
Is
just
he
checking.
I don't know why he's
entertaining or
saying
something?
that.
I don't
What's
know
up?
him. Is he entertaining or something?
No, Donnell's actually very upset with both Charlamagne and Envy because they walked out of his last interview that he had up here.
Is that what happened? Is that why he's dogging everybody so hard right now this morning?
I don't know the guy who y'all are talking about, but if I did know somebody named Donnell, if he
Yeah.
was more entertaining, I wouldn't walk out of his interview. Okay?
Now, you are
That's
at
my guy,
Caroline's
man.
this weekend, which I
Yeah.
am going to come through because I'm going to be here
All right,
this weekend.
finally.
And so I know you have a lot of new material because there's so much happening right
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
So what are some things that you feel like need to be addressed that as we watched, obviously Donald Trump got acquitted. He's not getting impeached.
Yeah. Who thought he was going to get
Nobody.
impeached?
Nobody.
I mean, he did technically get impeached by Congress, but that's it. Nobody thought he was going to get impeached. It's such a
Or removed,
such a
right.
joke, man. The entire process is such a massive joke.
Mm-hmm.
How can one side be completely unanimous and the other side be so unanimous? It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's like an obvious heist going on left and right. Like it's just too much.
That's why you got to salute Mitt Romney.
Oh
know?
man, Mitt
Oh, it's-
Romney
Yeah.
was gangster with it. I didn't know if that was gonna work or do anything, but it didn't do
It
shit.
didn't do anything. All it did was
Didn't do
make them be
anything.
like, we got to get him out of here.
Yeah, exactly. He's ruining it. Even the other guy in Utah, the other senator or congressman in Utah, just totally flipped on him too. It was so cold blooded.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was excellent what he did. But yeah, I do have a completely different set, and it's all brand new material. I have hours of material, so it's gonna be fun working it out this weekend.
Is there a limit when it comes to comedy nowadays?
You don't know, like Chappelle said, you don't know where the line is until you cross it. I think it's just being thoughtful about your material. It's really important, and I think what's troublesome about this time is that you have all this technology, and sometimes people are putting things out before it's even matured or had time to work on it, massage a particular premise, and I think that's incredibly unfair. That happened to Louis C.K. where somebody recorded his entire set and put it out online. I mean, that's somebody's livelihood. That happens on a regular basis with comedians everywhere on all different levels. So I think it's incredibly unfair when people don't understand the art form and how critical it is to take time for different concepts to mature and take time on stage, and you just release it out into the world without any context. I think it's just terrible when that happens.
So are you still facing like a lot of when you do your stand-up, right, you start off and you talk, the one that was on Netflix, you tell people, okay, haha, now you put your phones away and now I'm gonna
Oh yeah, blow it up.
yeah.
It was
So,
just a joke. Yeah.
I know that's a joke, obviously,
Yeah.
but is there still like a lot of people just saying kind of racist or stereotypical things when it comes to you? Like, do you see a lot of that on social media, in person? Do people walk out of shows? Like, does any of that happen?
I've never had anybody walk out of shows. Thankfully, I don't think so. Maybe once or twice. People became very uncomfortable. But my whole career, I've always thought about the balance. And I've had fantastic mentors to really make me think differently early on in my career to write universally. And that doesn't mean to make everybody happy. It's like, no, I think it's really, really important. I think the one thing that I captured best in my first special was me talking about my Palestinian experience and traveling and doing that German joke that I did is one of the most powerful jokes I've ever written. And I remember when I riffed that line at the end, when I was coming up with it, and I saw a standing ovation in the middle of my set from like Arabs and Jews and Palestinian Jews in the audience. I was like, oh shit, how am I gonna follow this? You know, those getting that is the most, you know, exciting part of doing stand-up and writing new materials, to being able to like you know, dance through lasers without getting hit, and then also having the applause from both sides. But yeah, sometimes you're gonna piss people off just by being myself, man.
Right.
That shit happens all the time.
Are,
Yeah, of
being,
course.
being from Palestine, do people always want you to talk about the Palestine-Israeli
Oh man,
conflict?
constantly, and then within like a 3-minute situation, hey,
Yeah.
we got you on the radio here. What's going on, man? Palestine, Israel. What do you think?
Yeah.
Fuck, man, this is
As if that's not a complex conversation.
it's incredibly complex, and it's so layered, and it's so sensitive. And you try to do that. Larry King tried to set me up. I was like, pink, pink, pink. He was doing those. He was talking about anti-Semitism. I was like, I'm a Semite. You know, I was like, I'm a Semite. I'm actually a Semite. I'm Palestinian. He was like, oh, that's true. That's true. I'm like, yeah, Larry, you ain't getting me, man. So I just feel like there's always this situation where you want to, you know, obviously elaborate and have a great conversation about it. But is the world really happy or ready to have a conversation about it?
Is there a way to insert that in your comedy?
Absolutely, I did that in my first special. I think that was the bit that I really worked very hard on, and I like everything else. But it's really inspiring when you find something that can really capture how you feel inside, and it's always a growth. It's just the beginning, but definitely more is coming, and I have more now.
Did you see that comedian that tried to do that terrible joke about Kobe Bryant, where he was like basically berating him?
Yeah,
That wasn't a joke, though.
I know it wasn't funny.
talking about Ari?
Yeah.
Now what is
I
was
thought
lame
it
as
was terrible. I
fuck.
know Ari. I saw him recently. That was a terrible joke.
It wasn't a joke.
It wasn't a
though.
joke.
But he said he does this all the time, where he
Yeah.
basically says nasty things about people who have just died.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's true or not, because I've never really paid attention before.
Yeah,
But
apparently it is. Yeah.
But do you think that something should have been off limits? Because for some reason, I've never seen him do that before. This is the one, obviously, that caught all of our attention.
Yeah.
But are there things that you would say, you know, you got to stay away from that, dude?
I mean, that one in particular, what he wrote was not funny. That's
Right.
the issue is that, is it funny? Is it compassionate? Are you able to, you know, walk that line again? This was a terrible, terrible time to do it, and it wasn't funny, and it just lacked. I mean, I forgot who
wasn't a
said
joke.
it. Somebody tweeted something like Kobe passing. I
Nah.
don't believe it.
Yeah, never.
You know,
that was a good
funny.
joke.
That was really
Yes.
funny. And it made you like take the edge off of something that's very, you know, sad and
Because it was about
tragic.
his legacy and not
Right.
about the
Yes.
death. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and
Everybody knows historically Kobe didn't pass the ball.
Right.
He's like,
Absolutely.
Kobe passing? Never.
Never, yeah.
You know?
Exactly. It's funny. You know, that's funny. Also, at the same time, it's just like, it's taking the edge off of something that's obviously very tragic. The fact that he was there with his daughter, the fact that there's a family with two, with, you know, parents with their kid,
their
and,
daughter, yeah.
and there's two orphan children, and there's another woman with her daughter. It's
Right.
like, it's so incredibly tragic, and the fact that it is Kobe Bryant, and he's left such a, you know, massive legacy that's obviously captured the entire world. Man, you better be hilarious. That joke better be funny, and I don't like, and I think it shouldn't be publicized. I don't think they, you know, the Times had a whole thing about it today, and it was just frustrating.
About the Ari joke?
Yeah, it was frustrating.
Today?
Today,
They
yeah.
still talking about it?
I know.
Is
It
there
wasn't
any,
even a joke. He literally got on the camera and said a rapist died today good.
Yeah,
I don't even want to
exactly.
say
It
what
was
he
awful,
said. I
yeah.
just
It wasn't
is
even
there,
I didn't
is there
like it
any
at all, yeah.
is there any redemption for Ari now? Like what? Now what? Is his career over? Because
No,
people
it's
they've
not
had
over.
to,
He's
you
still
know,
doing
obviously
sets around town.
because he
He's
can't go
fine.
to LA, and he
Yeah.
did get some shows canceled, and there are
Yeah.
security concerns
Right.
now. You know, where places won't book him. But do you think that this is something that he needs to address and apologize for, or do you think that he should be unapologetic?
I think he already did. Didn't he try to apologize online
I
already?
thought he tried to say, "Well, this is just what I do," you know, and I've done this with.
And he does, and he was right. It's just what he does. I don't think he knew. I'm not sure, right? I can't speak for Ari, but
Right.
I just know that he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be fine.
Okay.
I think people want to beat the shit out of him. You know what I mean? I wanted to karate sweep him when I saw him, but
You
it's
might-
like,
you might have
but
to
at the
take
same
that.
at the same time, you know, we just like, you know, he followed me recently, and I was just razzing him on stage, and it was just like, that banter. It's like, you know you made a mistake. He knows. And then it's the same time it's what he does. So I don't know if he knows he made a mistake or not, and I can't speak for him. So in the end, you know, I think he has a right to redeem himself. I think everybody has a right to redeem themselves. I think it's okay. You know, you make mistakes and you keep it moving, and then, you know, is it distasteful? You don't, and it's so easy. Like, hey, guess what? He can go on tour. If you don't like what he does, don't go to his shows. It's very easy not to support him. You know, it's fine, but he has a right to make a living. Go make a living. He didn't kill nobody. He didn't do anything crazy. I mean, he did say some, I don't agree with it at all. I hated the comments immediately when he came out, and every time I've seen him since then, I was like, oh, you still in the country? You know, I'll just fuck with him like that. But it's just like, yeah, man, do your thing. Like, teach his own. If that's what you want to do, if that's what you think is, like, you know, cutthroat comedy, that's not
worth it.
not for me.
Yeah.
It's not for me, and I don't even think of it as comedic, or I don't think of it as tasteful. I don't think of it as funny. That's the issue, you know?
You can go check Mohammed.
Sorry, Ari.
Aimer.
Sorry, not sorry. It's just the world believe feels right now. You know?
When
we'll all get over this soon, okay?
When you've been writing for this, are there things that you were like, I don't want to touch on that? Like, as you've been preparing new material and hours of material, are there things that you're like, do you say, if you have to second guess something, does that mean I shouldn't do it? Or if you
that makes me want to do it even more.
It makes you want to do it more.
It makes me do it more. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, you know, what I really enjoy the most is doing these midnight shows. You know, I do like pop-up midnight shows, and that's the people that come out really love stand-up, and really, you know, you can just flex as you want and go whatever direction you want, and just basically you're painting in real time, and that's one of the funnest things to do as a comedian. But you have to absolutely push yourself and continue to broach different topics that I'm uncomfortable with or are really close to me. And it could be also really playful. It doesn't have to be serious all the damn time. Like, even Bill Hicks would say, like, don't worry guys, dick jokes are coming soon. You know, like, he would say that in the middle of his set, because people are just like really overwhelmed by it. They came there for comedy. In the end, are you making them laugh?
Right.
And the best comedians that ever existed or make you laugh and think at the same time.
Has anyone ever stolen jokes from you? We've seen this whole thing just play out with like Steve Harvey and Mark Curry, and he said Steve Harvey stole some of his jokes. Have you ever?
Yeah, Steve Harvey stole my jokes.
What
No,
joke
I'm just
did he
fucking around.
say? Oh.
No. I've had that. Yeah, I've had that big time.
Do you
yeah.
confront people?
I have a couple times, and at the end, it's like, yo, I can just write my own shit. The biggest one was Cosby. He did like my joke word for word.
No, he
Really?
did not.
Yeah.
Which
it
one?
It was the chess joke.
I don't remember the chess joke. I never was big on Cosby stand-up.
Yeah, it was. I just started getting messages everywhere. It was so weird. It was like 5 weeks before his special came out, and everybody was messaging me like, "Oh man, congratulations, you writing for Cosby." I was like, "Word? What am I doing? What?" I looked it up, and this guy saw me open for Chappelle in Minnesota. He was like, "Hey man, I saw you do that joke in Minnesota, and Cosby's doing that. Who took the bit first?" And he started. I was like, "Yo, do your research. It's all over online. It's on the All Even Funny movie." And then he caught it, and he was like, "Hey, Comedy Central, you need to pay for this." And I was like, "Yo, I can't believe this is happening," because I started stand up because I saw Cosby when I was 10 years old. That's why I started stand up. So I was kind of freaking out.
Right.
And then I saw the video. You know, all these comedians from different parts of the world was sending me messages, and they sent me the trailer, and I couldn't believe he was like word for word.
Are you?
Wow.
See, I thought you were
My
joking
chess
at
joke.
first when you said
Wow.
that, but he really did steal a joke.
Yeah. I would have never said this if he didn't rape. You know what I mean? If I knew, you know, that he was a good person and didn't do all that shit, I would have never brought it up. That's why I didn't bring it up to begin with. I was like, I never want to be popular based off of this. I want to be popular off of the work that I do.
Right.
And so it was just really, really crazy to see somebody you started stand up because of saying the exact same words.
That's
you know?
crazy.
Yeah, it was.
He
dope.
saved
It
you
was
in
one of my
Japan.
favorite early jokes.
He saved you in Japan, at least. So.
What's up? Yeah, he did save me in Japan. He did. If you're familiar with the special, he really did though. That's why I got in. That's the only way they understood what stand-up comedy was.
In Japan, when they were interrogating him.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that was a big thing. That was a big thing for me, and internally it was like, wow.
Did you say
the
did you
human
get-
being in me was just like, wow, Bill Cosby just did my material. That's so cool.
Did you give
And then
Hannibal the information?
Yeah, no,
in
I
order
didn't.
in order to set
I
him
didn't.
up?
I didn't. And the comedian in me was like, "Yo, man, that's my joke. I love that joke." But it was. I didn't care at that point. It was already on a film. It's copyright. It's done. It's there. It's proven. It's not like, oh no, he took it. I'm never gonna be able. I didn't.
Did you
care.
get paid for it?
No. And I didn't know I could get so much money off of it too. It's like every time it airs is pretty hefty fine, apparently.
Wow.
I didn't go after it because I didn't want to. I was like, ooh, I don't want to be
Could
known
you
for
prove
that.
it?
Easily.
Yeah,
he said it's.
it's easily. It's copyrighted. It's on a film.
Gotcha,
It's on a
gotcha,
concert
gotcha,
film.
gotcha.
Yeah, from 2007 we filmed it. It came out in 2008. And his special didn't come out like 5 years later to that. From
So Cosby was still in tune with everything that was going on.
yeah, I think
clearly.
it was a lie. The whole thing is like, is he really standing behind in the room, like watching as you watch online videos? I don't think so. I think maybe a writer saw me do it and
took it word for word.
took it, yeah. I mean, it's word for word, and he just did the first part. He didn't even do the full bit, which was nice of him. You know? It was just a premise joke. It's one of my favorite jokes.
I mean, back in the day,
My
you could
early
say
jokes, yeah.
Bill
What
Cosby, imitation is the best form of flattery.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
that's all
Not
you-
now.
not
Yeah, not now.
For everyone
Not
that's going to
now.
be too lazy to look it up, what is the joke?
It's just the chess joke. I talk about how women are smarter than men. I think women invented chess. If you really look at the game of chess, the king, quote unquote, can only move one step at a time. What about the queen? Oh, the queen can go wherever the hell she wants to go. She's out there killing his friends. You know, every time the king tries to move, the queen is right there. He's in check.
She's
You know,
protecting
that's
him.
yeah, protecting my ass, trying to murder him. Yeah, it was like, and by the way, the queen, when she dies, she's the most desirable chess piece to get back. And by the way, she can come back from the dead to kill you. You know, that was the whole premise. And it's like chess is like everyday life. Try to leave the house with your girl there. That's the premise. That's what he
Okay.
took. I mean, I could have gone. I'm not trying to do it. It's been it's an old
No,
ass
I was
bit
just
of mine.
wondering because I know people are going to be like, what was the joke? So,
Yeah, that's it.
let's
That's
hear you
it.
say
All
it.
right, yeah. I don't know what I just started for myself. I'm scared what's going to come after this.
You go check out Muhammad Amar.
Oh my
Hammer.
God, he just
Hammer.
messed your whole
Yeah,
name
It's like
Hammer.
up.
hammer.
Mercy.
It's like hammer without the H. It's not my fault. It's not your fault.
Hammer.
It's my parents' fault for choosing that last
Mo
name when
Hammer.
we got
Mo
here.
Ammer. He'll be at Caroline's all weekend. Where you at? Friday night, Saturday night?
It's Friday, 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, and there's one on Thursday, but I think this doesn't come out
What's
until
it? Today?
tomorrow.
Is today Thursday?
Today's Thursday, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mo Ammer, thank you for coming, my
Thank you
brother.
so much,
Good to
man.
meet you.
I
Give me your
appreciate
Twitters
you.
and Instagrams and all that stuff.
It's all real Mo Ammer. RealMoAmer. All of them. Twitter, Instagram. Bada bing,
What's
bada
all
boom.
this?
Arabs are very expressive, okay? What's all these questions you got? I'm going to come back for you. Stop tripping, man.
Did you just threaten me?
Oh, my
Oh, my God. Mo Ammer.
She's really good at this shit.
It's the Breakfast
I'm
Club.
going to come with gifts for you next time. It's too much.